Now, some things that a lot of companies in this world can do is change data, um, or they can ask certain groups of people. That way they can get answers that they want. So one thing we talk about is biased and unbiased. Now, if you have biased data, to have a bias is basically to make people or have people believe something that isn't necessarily true. So when we're talking about bias, you're basically leading people to believe something false. Oops, let me cross it out. Okay. Now, it might not be completely false, but it's not going to be the truth of what everyone would like. So for the first question, it says a school wants to add a co-ed soccer program, and they want to find out student interest. They give a survey. In order to get an unbiased sample, which group should they survey? So with a survey, a fair survey, for a survey to be fair, it should have a lot of people, and it should be random. So if we go through these, I'm going to start with 4. With 4, it says every student having a second period French class. Now, that's not really a random. It's everyone in a certain room at the same time. So that's not going to be the best solution for this. Now, the third choice, drama class. Drama class, those students might be more likely not to be playing a sport. So they might be against a soccer group, which might not be what everyone wants. Same thing with the football team. If they're playing football, they probably don't want to play soccer. They made a choice. So for this reason, answer 1 is going to be our best choice because if you get every third student entering the building, it's going to be a random sample of people as they walk through. So that's why 1's going to be our least biased sample. Now for the next one, this one asks us about the most bias. Survey is being conducted to determine which types of television programs people watch. Which survey and location combination would likely contain the most bias? Now, the most bias in this case would be number 1, okay? Because you have the least amount of people, and they're all in just one type of store. They're in a sporting goods store. If you look at the other ones, if you randomly survey someone, that's not going to have much bias. Same thing with the day at the mall or the clothing store. Not going to have much bias because everyone goes to the mall usually, or everyone goes to a clothing store. The first 25 people enter a grocery store, same thing. Everyone needs to go to a grocery store. But if it's a sporting goods store, usually people that go in the sporting goods store are going to want to watch sports television. So for that reason, the most bias would be answer 1. Now, this whole idea of bias can be tricky, but remember, you want fair surveys that have a lot of people and are random. And with a bias, you're trying to make people believe something that isn't necessarily true.